Kalina,
Yes, Casey.
I think we should try a new bar. Maybe like a lounge. What do you think?
I don't know. We go to a lot of lounges and bars. What if there was one like just for us?
Like just for spirits?
Or just our very own bar that we could dance on anytime we want.
Yes, called the Spirit Lounge.
The Spirit Lounge. Maybe we should drink from there.
And podcast from there.
I love this
Drink,
idea.
Dance, and podcast at the Spirit Lounge.
And that is how the Spirit Lounge was born.
With the medium mixology.
I'm Kalina Converse.
And I'm Kaci Carlson.
Cheers.
Cheers to our new space, you guys.
So if you're watching on YouTube, you might notice we have a different vibe. We kind of played with vibes a little bit in the last few weeks to see what we liked that we wanted more permanent. And now we have our very own space, our very own room. We're moving up in the world, Kaci.
Heck yeah, we are. We've got our own bar top, everything. We're very official.
And we made sure that this bar was strong enough
to have two grown women dancing on
to
it.
support us.
I mean, we'll see where the moment takes us. You never know with us.
And to set the scene for you, we have in the front of this, there are like shelves with like candles on it.
Yeah, it's a total vibe.
It's like a spooky vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And in the back?
I love it. And the back, we have this amazing backdrop behind us. It's very vintage. You guys got to check it out on YouTube.
Yeah.
I think you'll like it.
So we have Media Mixology has their very own bar.
Yes. Moving on up in the world.
I know. Well, I mean, if we were going to have visitors come over and...
like humans. We got to clarify, guys.
Yes. Human speakers come in with us. We needed a space where we could like give them
and feel professional. Like we've got our not desk, it's our version of a desk.
Yeah,
it's our favorite kind.
I mean, we really took that last episode where we said we wanted to be newscasters to heart.
We took it literally.
Yeah, we absolutely did. We were like, nope, we want to be newscasters with a drink in hand.
Yes, and we're bringing spirit news.
Let's cheers to that.
Cheers.
Sip and see.
Spirits and mediums.
Wild and free.
Happy hump day, y'all.
Happy hump day.
Let's do this. So we want to start out with chills of the week. I think we skipped it a couple of times or something.
Yeah.
So let's bring that back in. I really like that. Do you want to go first or do you want me?
Okay, I'm going to go first.
Okay.
And Kaci is actually in my chills of the week this week. So I think it was Monday night. I was walking about my house, minding my own business, and I kept feeling like I had scratched my foot. It was like this phantom pain, almost like I had like stubbed my toe or scratched my foot, and it was on my right foot, and I was like, that's so weird. And I went and kept looking down at my toe as though it was injured, and it wasn't. And I was so confused why I felt this phantom pain, not even thinking anything of it. I was just like, why do I think my foot is hurt? And then
I texted her and I was like, girl, I'm about to lose it. Because I was getting over this virus. And then I busted up my right foot, slammed it into the corner of my bathroom drawer that was on the ground airing out because we got a leak in the sink, which that was fun. And I turned and walked quick and slammed the top of my foot to the corner of this drawer. And I sent her a photo of it. And I was like, this is going to be a problem. We were supposed to go dancing on Friday to celebrate my birthday. And I'm like, we got to be able to dance. And is that when you text? You're like, wait, is it your right foot?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. And it's so painful.
Yeah,
and then you told me.
So crazy. It was like I felt the phantom pain. And then what makes it even crazier is I've been suffering from a little bit of vertigo, and I get it every now and then. And if you don't know what vertigo is, it's like you feel dizzy. It's like you feel drunk without drinking. And it's hard to stand. Oh my gosh, it's awful. As a yoga teacher, I can't even do a downward facing dog right now because I have vertigo.
So depressing.
I know. So I was like a smart human being and decided that would be a good time to stand on a bar stool in my kitchen, not at a bar. But I was in the kitchen getting something down for my children. It was on the top shelf. It was like above my fridge. So it was like high. So I'm on this bar stool, and when you look up and you have vertigo, you get even more dizzy. Yeah. And I don't know if it was me. I don't know if it was the chair. I don't know what happened, but I landed And magically, I landed on 2 feet. Don't know how that happened. My daughter said it was like slow motion, like I floated down. However, it didn't feel
carried you down.
It didn't feel float-esque because I now have bruises all over my entire body, and I also scraped the hell out of my foot.
Girl.
So my phantom pain was no longer a phantom. I now have a matching boo-boo on my foot.
I mean, guys, we said we're connected, so I was like, well, get ready then, because this virus sucks balls. So if you get what I have, then you're welcome.
Yeah, she invited me over, and I was like, no offense, Casey, but
yeah, I don't want that crap.
Your family's been sick for a while, so I'm going to pass on this one.
Yeah, seriously. It is so funny, though. That is wild. It really is crazy.
I know. Okay, so what's yours?
So mine is, I went to my friend's house, and she gave me permission to share this. Her sister had passed away a couple months ago. And when I got to her house, I came in and she was just kind of struggling. And she's like, hey, let's hang out. And, and so I got there and I noticed there was a man, a spirit, felt like family member in the corner of the room. And he seemed friendly. So I just let it be, didn't really bring him up. And so we start talking and we're sitting on the couch and behind her is a screen. And it's those screens that you flip through photos, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so it's just rotating these photos and her husband's a great photographer. So it's all his photos. And we're talking and we start talking about her father-in-law who had passed. And all of a sudden the screen started to do crazy things. Like it started to get these squiggle lines through it. And I was like, whoa, what's going on with your screen? Does it do that? And she turned around and looked and she's like, what? What is this? And then I immediately started to feel
my gosh.
Yeah. I'm like, it's the man.
Was your heart racing? Were you getting excited? Like,
oh my
God.
I was excited. Yeah, I was excited. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. He's coming in quick, right? Really strong with that device. And so that was really cool. So I was like, hey, well, if you want, I can like tap in. I didn't know there was a man here when I got here. She's like, what? Okay, wait. Why didn't you tell me? I was like, well, I mean, he seemed friendly.
Girl, I don't start with that.
Yeah, we're not going to start. We were just hanging out.
I'm all, hey, girlfriend. Oh, by the way.
Do you see homeboy right there? Like, he's just hanging with you. So I got closer to it, to this screen with all the photos and started asking questions. And I said, we thought it was her father-in-law who had passed a couple years ago. And then I said, no, he's showing me that he passed by a drug overdose, and that wasn't your father-in-law did it. And she said, no, my dad did. And then the screen went nuts. Yeah, it did like this thick blue line through the middle. And we both got the chills, and she was like, oh my word. I'm like, yeah, this is your dad. And she said, so he passed when she was little. And so she really didn't get to know him. So we ended up doing this really cool reading. And while I was there, her sister came through. And what was really cool about that is that when her sister came through, both of them had passed of the same thing, different reasons, and they both were coming with this beautiful message for her, like apologizing, letting her know that they're in a peaceful place, that their soul is content, and they are happy, and they just want her to be happy and watching over and protecting her. It was a beautiful message. But when the sister came through, they both showed me like on the bottom of the screen was like a purple line and then a blue line on top. And I was like, oh, there's sister, there's dad. Yeah, like it was so clear. I've never seen this in my life.
Incredible.
Right? This is so wild. And she got out her phone and started recording. She's like, Casey, this is crazy. I mean, the stuff that was
like technology like respond, and like we say a lot that like they can flicker lights, like spirit can communicate with us through technology, to be doing a reading for your friend and to actually have that happen right there, like that's so cool.
It was the coolest experience, and to have it be so clear and like specific.
Talk about validation.
Yes, yeah, and that's what I even said. I said, thank you for this validation. We see that you've given us your answer.
Yes.
We'll use this device to connect and communicate. And it would flip through the regular photos between us talking, but then when I would get information and I would tell her, or we would ask a question, the screen would change. And one time it did like these up and down loops with little dots in between. I mean, it was stuff that like I've never seen.
Did you guys record that?
Yes. So she did. She got out her camera. She's like, I got to record this. This is crazy. So I do have that recording. She said I have permission to share parts of it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I'll ask her which parts she feels comfortable with me sharing, and maybe we'll put a little clip up there. That'd be
that's
so cool.
Incredible.
Yeah. So that was really special. I just was so grateful to be there for that, to experience it, with her.
I'm sure, like, what a blessing for you to give her those messages.
Yeah, and so much comfort, and she was really needing it. It was it was wild. And then when they were done talking to us, the screen turned off. Like literally it turned off. And I was like, does it have a timer? Does it turn off automatically? She's like, no, never. It's on 24/7.
Oh,
I was
my
like,
gosh.
what?
That is insanity.
Crazy. Yeah. So that was the coolest chills of the week I've ever had.
Yes. And
Yeah.
like everything's getting stronger because you're like
Right? Yeah.
leaning in.
Leaning in, yeah. And being more open to just seeing all those different signs.
And like, how cool is it? Do you find that like your friends and family are more open, or do they ask you to read them more or anything like that?
Some of them. I feel like the ones that have always kind of been open to it, or they're just leaning more that way now and they're comfortable with it, they will ask me. But the ones that have always been hesitant kind of are still in that space. Do you feel like that too? Or?
Oh, totally. Yeah. Do you feel like you can't show up at like a party or a family event or something without somebody being like, read me?
Yeah. And like, I feel like sometimes there's that pressure because it's not always on. It's, like for me, it's not like I'm constantly getting stuff and channeling.
Absolutely. You should be turning it off, right? You should be. Yeah. But I think that's like, we talked about this in one of the other episodes. I think it was at the beginning of season 2, how like coming out publicly, you're always on, meaning now everybody knows about it. So you're always like perform, but like you try to consciously turn it off, or sometimes you think or get things that are just for you. Yes. Like it's kind of like your own sense of the world, like, oh, that person's going through something, but you don't necessarily want to talk to them about it.
Yes, for sure. It's like the knowing when to say something and when to hold back and just sit with it.
But I think the more people, like as we've grown, like the more people that find out, the more it has, like the more people that ask us to read, the more our skills have grown. Does that make sense?
I completely agree with that.
Yeah. So like if you show up at a party and they're like, ooh, read me. And then I'm like, okay, let me see what I can get really quick.
We're more confident with it.
Yeah. I had these 2 guys at your birthday party.
Oh, yeah.
I had these 2 guys ask me to read them randomly.
You're like, what? I don't even know you.
I was like, that's...
And he's like, perform, monkey. That's what it feels like. That they're like, get your little chimes and give us your performance.
Yes, it's almost like a test.
Yeah,
like, okay, if you're a psychic medium, what can you tell me about myself?
That's exactly how it feels.
My Uber driver just did that. He's like, so what do you do? And I actually said,
I'm a psychic medium.
Amongst other things, right? Mm-hmm. And he was like, wait, okay, so I'm not actually a bad person. And I was like, wait, what?
Well, girl, it turned into confessionals with the priest.
Oh my God, it totally was. And he was like, look, I got another girl pregnant, and like,
Kalina literally confessed his sins.
Yes. And I was like, I'm not judging. I'm not here to judge.
Yeah.
I
Did you go over to him and say, son, you are forgiven. Be healed, my child.
No, but I seriously was like,
wild.
The shame and grief and guilt that you have on yourself is
You're like, bro, I was not reading that. I don't want to read
I
that.
might have low-key been reading it, but I wasn't going to open it like, hi, I just met you. I don't even know your name. You're just driving me home. But
I see you got a random girl pregnant. She has a child. And
like that's information for me. But now that you're like fessing up, he's like, what do I do? And I was like, oh gosh.
Like, it really feels like a lot of pressure.
I think that's a TV show.
What?
The Medium, the Cab and the Medium.
Oh, I think you're right. And we'll give readings to whoever comes in?
Yes, my daughter.
Where they share the
Dude,
cab
I should be an Uber driver that reads people.
That'd be so fun, actually. Talk about practicing your skills.
Okay,
you get so many random people.
Let's do it together.
Oh, gosh. After we just got done saying, sometimes it's overwhelming. We're like, let's add and be Uber drivers to our list of mini jobs.
We both have so many jobs.
I swear.
Cheers to
ridiculous. Cheers to Uber driving and reading everybody.
Well, John Holland, one of my teachers, had said how he got really good is he was a bartender in LA.
Oh, that's right.
And he would read the people he would bartend for, and he got so much experience. And then people started coming to him for that. And they're like, hey, did you hear about the bartender at this bar that can read people? Go to him. He will give you. And that's like.
That's so cool. Did he get amazing tips?
Oh, that's a good question.
I'm going to ask him hundreds at least. I mean, you just got a reading.
Right.
That's really cool.
I bet he did.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll just open up shop here. We can start serving.
Next. We get a reading and a drink.
Yep.
Although I'm not sure anybody wants us to bartend for them, Casey.
Oh, my word. You all, if you've been following us, you've seen our journey with trying to figure out even opening a jar or a bottle of wine.
Yes.
the cork falling inside.
On my social media, I was like, I am 40 years old and I just learned how to open a bottle of wine correctly. And I have done it once. Like, nothing to brag about. Yeah. I lose the cork in it still 90% of the time.
Yeah. No, we've gotten better. I mean, what we have now is beautiful.
Oh my gosh. I'm low-key a little bit proud of our growth.
I am too. Like, this feels professional. We took some photos, so we'll post it. But it's beautiful. It's blue. It kind of matches our background.
Yeah, we decided to call it Ocean Breeze. I think that's an actual drink.
Yeah, I think it is. And with some rum, Sprite.
Yeah, it's pineapple rum.
Yeah, pineapple rum.
Sprite, blue Caraco.
Yeah. I think, I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, so it looks like an ocean, but it's like ombre.
Yeah, it is. It's really lovely.
And we wanted this one. We were like, let's try an oceanic drink because we're about ready to head to
Costa Rica.
Yeah. So we were like, let's get in our Costa Rica vibes. We thought about doing it on the bar in our bikinis, but then we thought,
maybe next time.
We didn't want to be too much for you guys.
From the start, we'll eventually get there. Just give us a minute.
They're like, these girls are crazy.
Yeah. They're like, let you get there. You guys are already there, man.
Okay, so this week we are going to do a little bit different. If you've been with us through the beginning, you know that we used to have a segment at the end of each episode called Ask the Psychic. And we've been getting questions in our email, and we kind of stopped reading them. We took a break for a little bit. We started season 2, and we went through and grabbed some questions, and we decided to just dedicate a whole episode to Ask the Psychic Mediums. Yeah. And some of these questions are really good.
They are. I'm excited to dive in. We've got some great ones. So we'll read the questions. And then maybe kind of give like our feedback on it and
talk about it. Yeah. So you want to start?
Okay. So let's do it. All right. First we have, Dear Kalina and Kaci, a month ago, I inherited an ornate antique mirror from my grandmother's estate. From the moment I hung it in my bedroom, I've felt watched. At first, I thought it was just my imagination, but then things got worse. The glass is always cold to the touch, no matter the temperature. At night, I catch glimpses of movement in the reflection, shapes that shouldn't be there. Once, I swore I saw my own reflection blink when I hadn't. That's so creepy.
That is what?
Yes. I saw my own reflection blink when I hadn't. My sleep has been restless, filled with nightmares of dark figures standing at the foot of my bed. My cat refuses to go near the mirror and will sit in the doorway staring at it with dilated eyes. Okay. I'm sorry. Cats at night with their eyes glowing already freak me out.
Yeah, okay,
so
fair. But also, can we low-key ask why she's touching the mirror all the time?
Well, I wonder if maybe it's like almost pulling her in, that she's
I can't.
You know what I mean? That she's like, wait, why did my eyes blink? Am I blinking? I don't think I did. So she's like, I gotta touch it. It's cold.
Abort mission.
Yeah. She's like, why is it cold?
Take a sledgehammer to grandma's mirror.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, keep going.
Okay. I mean, or even maybe she's like plucking her eyebrows. Sometimes you get too close up in there, plucking the nose hairs, and so she bumped the mirror.
You pluck your nose hairs?
Girl, I mean, we're 43. Listen.
Isn't there like
wax?
No.
Okay, well, they're blonde, but I still don't want anything hanging.
Mine are blonde. Mine are black.
We're going to have to inspect yours.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've not. What?
This is why you got.
When I'm talking, do you see nose hairs?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't see nose hairs. But listen, what are friends for? Like, I have no problem. I'll get up in there and
yeah, please do. If I have any weird hairs hanging out of it anywhere.
I'll be your mirror. It's fine. Well, she's probably like rubbing up against the mirror to see those little hairs. And then she's like, why is it like ice? I don't know.
And then she falls in, and that's exactly how horror movies start.
Oh, and then she just disappears right into the abyss. Like, where'd she go?
They're like, you're supposed to be helping me, not making me this. We're going to terrify this girl.
We got you. Let's go. No, you're fine. You're safe. We're sending all of our good energy to that mirror.
Okay, wait.
Okay, let's see what else happened. I know, right? Poor thing. She's like, I'm never sending those 2 questions again.
Worst psychics ever.
I know.
The This is why we don't have an advice column, guys.
Right?
Okay.
I tried covering it with a sheet, but in the morning, this sheet was on the floor.
Oh my gosh, that is like you in Salem.
Don't even get me started on the sheets with the mirrors.
I can't.
Yes.
I think that's even more creepy.
No, okay,
keep going.
We'll get to that. Yeah, okay. Is this just paranoia, or could something be attached to the mirror? If so, what should I do? Girl, the moment your eyes blinked without actually blinking, that was the answer. There is something attached to the mirror.
Not saying she's like... Not saying that you are... Whoever wrote this in,
touch.
Maybe it's like under a vent and it's winter time. It said it was a month ago.
I mean, yeah, but she said it doesn't matter what the temperature is in the space.
Okay, so here's what I think. Actually, I don't know what I think. What do you think?
I'll tell you what I think. You know my feeling about mirrors. Okay, also, I've had experiences with mirrors. So my daughter has seen, my son has seen, and I have seen people behind us. So
yes,
if we're facing the mirror, right? Okay, yeah. If we're facing the mirror, there is someone reflecting back at us behind us in the mirror. Now you turn around and you don't necessarily see them.
Do you turn around?
No.
I don't either. No. Why would you turn around? If I see somebody and I have, right?
But Logan has. Logan has turned. He's like, Mom, they're not there. But back, I look in the mirror, they're there.
What do you do?
And so, what have I done is I run. I say, this is as good as you're going to look, Case, let it go. Bring the brush in the car.
I close my eyes.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I don't see them, they don't see me. And then I open them and they're gone.
Yes. I literally start praying them away. I run out the door and close the door.
And then they slowly begin to lift your hair and play with your hair.
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding.
Seriously, right?
Why am I so... The Spirit Lounge is bringing in the haunted vibes.
It totally is. Like it's Halloween already or something. Oh my word. But yeah, my daughter has seen a little girl in her mirror and it terrified her. So she called my son.
It would.
Right, naturally. So she called my 12-year-old son, who's very gifted medium. And he came in and helped kind of clear the space. And he was like, no, she's harmless. She's the one that Mom and I talk to all the time. And Peyton's like, I can't live with you two. And so mine was not friendly like that. It was a man. I had that happen as a teenager. I think I talked about this before. That is why, even as a teenager, I would ask someone to come stand behind me in the house.
I remember this.
Yeah, when I would wash my face. And I've gotten so much better, obviously, with age and just controlling that more.
So what do you think she should do?
So this right here, and she put the sheet on and it came down. Get red in the mirror. Right?
Really? You don't think there's any way, if it's really grandma's mirror, is grandma's energy, is it her grandmother's energy that has attached to this? Because that's what I would say. Does this energy feel familiar to you? Have you tried to talk to it? I know that sounds a little bit foreign, but have you tried to be like, I know something is here. Can you talk to me and show me what you need or what you want?
Yeah.
Or if it feels negative, don't invite it to show you anything. Just say, hey, if there's negative energy here.
Yeah.
I'd honestly draw a big cross on the mirror.
Oh, seriously.
Or I would do some sage.
Sage, and I'd honestly probably write my own personal favorite Bible verse. But
scripture,
that's just me.
Yeah. Or also a love.
Or
you are love, I am love.
Yeah,
love
positive
everywhere.
affirmations. Yeah. But I like to, everyone does this different, but I like to rub my hands together and get that energy going, and then just have my hands go near it. And so when you're placing your hands near the object, almost do you feel like grandma's right there, that you're about to hug her, touch her? You know what I mean? You can kind of feel that feminine energy. Or is it kind of ooh, ice cold, this doesn't feel good?
Yeah, you'll know right away.
If it is.
Just if you're walking out to your car at night and you feel this foreign thing next to you and you're oh my gosh, this
doesn't feel good. Yeah.
Yes, you'll know.
Your intuition will tell you. You'll definitely know.
It kind of sounds like she's so spooked out by it that even if it is friendly, she wouldn't be able to recognize because she's so spooked out.
I agree with that.
Now, that being said, do you believe that it could be something
dark?
Super? Yes.
You know what? I mean, it could. And here's the hard thing is that and you and I have talked about this, when spirit does come through, and if they're using objects like this, they're trying their best to connect with you. So it may be looking like her eyes were closing and they blinked and she didn't actually blink, The grandma might have just been trying to be playful.
But what if it's not grandma?
And if it's not grandma, then I truly would remove the mirror, at least remove the mirror out of the bedroom for now. Give it a minute. I would cover it with a heavy duty blanket. That's just me. And I would go put it in another closet that I don't go in that room.
If I
to where she's like losing sleep over it. You know what I mean?
Yes, and
You gotta do
especially if
something.
like she put the blanket. I mean, mirrors are generally like not slippery, but like if you put a sheet over it, it could very easily slip off.
It
That's
can.
like very explainable.
It
And you
can.
know, like logical minded, you're like, okay, well maybe it slipped off in the middle of the night or whatever. But if the cat's scared of it, and I totally think cats are intuitive.
Oh,
Dogs,
they are.
yeah,
Dogs
like
and cats definitely
see things that we cannot see. And so I think that if you think that there is something negative and you don't want to get rid of it, I would definitely like do some sort of like sage prayers, something in order to release that. And if you feel like you can't, then maybe you do get rid of it.
Yeah. Girl, start gluing like tourmaline stones on the back of it even.
Yeah, protection. Yeah,
You could
or
put
put a
protective
protection
stones.
stone, right?
Yeah, just tape them onto the back and just line it up
Call
to
us
the
up.
center.
We'll come do an exorcism.
Yeah, well, I was like, we're coming up with all these ideas. We got you.
But also, like, there's so much information on the web about objects that have possessions.
Yeah.
Like, if you were to Google that, I mean, if you
you'll
want to
find
be
story after story.
And like so many people, like there's haunted dolls, there's haunted houses, there's haunted, right? And you know that I have a hard time with the word haunted, but I do feel like there's residual energy or mischievous energy. And so like, if you're afraid of it truly, if you're losing sleep over it, then maybe.
Yeah, it's time to put it away for a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. See what you've had.
Give it to your enemy.
Give it to your ex. You're like, you broke my heart. Wait for this mirror to break you, bro. You're not going to sleep.
You're all
yeah. Right.
Okay, here we go. Next question. I feel like we need a drink.
I
I have a breath after that one.
We need to cleanse that one.
We need a little friendlier question here. Okay. My husband died, but he won't leave. That's what is in the headline.
Oh.
The email. Okay. Dear Kaci and Kalina, love your podcast. Yay, thanks. My husband, I know who this is. So she actually told me about this. It's one of my students.
Oh.
My husband, Daniel, passed away unexpectedly 6 months ago. It was the hardest thing I've ever gone through. But life has a way of moving forward. Over time, I found comfort in an old friend, Michael, and what started as companionship grew into something more. Last month, we were married. Wait, how long? So 5 months later, she got remarried.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty quick.
That is
no
judgment.
No, just observation.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that is quick, yeah.
But good for her.
Yeah. No, no one wants to be alone.
Yeah. But ever since then, strange things have been happening. So she told me about this in class. At night, I wake up feeling a presence in the room, like someone is sitting on the edge of the bed. Sometimes I hear soft breathing when no one is there. It's never frightening, just there. I can't shake the feeling that Daniel is still with me. Is it possible that he's watching over me? Could my guilt about moving on be making me more sensitive to his presence? Or is love truly strong enough to linger beyond death? And I'm not going to say her name to protect her innocence.
Yeah. Wow, that's really cool. I think it's I don't know, I would personally want that communication still, you know?
What I would say is it sounds to me like you feel guilty about moving on so quickly.
Yeah.
Or you're feeling like maybe he's there because like it was still his house. I would say, and this is kind of controversial between mediums, not all mediums would say this. It is my belief system that there is no negative energy on the other side. Meaning, I don't think that he's holding a grudge over you getting remarried, or he's resentful about you getting remarried, or he's hurt that you got remarried so fast. If you feel his energy, it's simply because he's watching over you. I don't believe those negative emotions of guilt and grief and resentment or hatred are on the other side. So I don't think he's sitting there like, why did she get remarried?
No, yeah, I completely agree with you. I don't think he's feeling that at all. And like you said, they're not holding on to grudges and resentment when they pass on. It's almost like they have this cleansing and opening and seeing everything through a different lens. And it's just so much pure love. You could call it Christ consciousness, whatever you want. Like the highest vibrational frequency and feeling is how they typically come through, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like just reading that and what I'm feeling intuitively is that was him almost, I think, in a way, giving his approval.
Oh, I love that. Like a blessing.
Yeah,
like, I'm
like,
so
hey,
happy you're here.
Almost like he's welcoming the new
like you're
into
here,
the home. Yeah, like here. And
healing.
here's a sign that I'm still here with you, but also like I'm happy that
you.
Yep. And I'm happy that you're happy. You know.
I love that. Yeah, I totally agree. Especially like I think that when you move on after losing someone, it is like, will you ever truly love somebody? And I like that. That's such a hard question when you're doing a reading on somebody who's lost a spouse.
Yeah.
And it's like the grief of that is so heavy that like to move on from that feels almost
impossible.
And then when you do, it feels wrong. Mm-hmm. Like you're doing something wrong.
You have that guilt. Yeah.
And so I totally understand where she's coming from. But from what I believe on the other side, no, he's not upset or mad.
No, not at all. I don't think. Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay. All right. Do you got another one?
Yeah, let's see what we got. Okay. We have... Oh, I like this. All right. Dear Medium Mixology.
And we kind of just skimmed these. So
yeah,
there's a whole bunch in there. So we're just kind of skimming through them.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Dear Medium Mixology, my 4-year-old has started talking to someone she calls the lady in the corner.
What?
She describes her in great detail, but no one is there. She doesn't seem scared, but I am. Could this be an imaginary friend, or is my child seeing a spirit? How should I handle this?
What do you think?
Okay. This is a really good one.
You're like, this is my childhood.
Yeah, like this is my childhood, and then this is my son right here.
You came to the right place.
Yes.
We've got you.
Yes, we do. So my family kind of joked that they just thought I had a really strong, big imagination. I always had imaginary friends. And one of my imaginary friends, I loved her name. I wanted to name my child after her, all these things, right? And I would talk to her and she was there. And now I realize she's one of my guides and she's with me. And her name
I was like, wait, what?
No, remember I told you about this. I kind of just don't want to say her name.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I wanted to name a child after, like, I just always loved it. My mom's like, what is your fascination with this name? You know? And I thought I had an imaginary friend. And now that I'm older and I know, and she'll start coming through and I'll hear her name first. And then I'm like, oh, that's kind of my sign to, listen in. So I would say if your 4-year-old, which we've talked about children, it's almost like that veil is just naturally so thin for them. It's easier for them to kind of cross that and see beyond.
Yep, I agree.
And so it makes sense that she's young and she's seeing someone there. And it's frightening for you as the parent if you're not able to see that. Because you're like, is this good? Is this bad? Why is there a spirit in my home?
Don't you think it's important for the mom to help her distinguish good energy from bad energy?
100%. Because I do believe, I've experienced it myself and I've seen it with 2 of my children, that because they are so young and so innocent, there is that darker energy, more negative spirit, you could say.
I call it mischievous.
Yes, that can come through because the children are so pure and feel full of so much light. So they are vulnerable is what I would say.
But if it's not in their realm, do you think that negative energy can attach to them if they don't recognize it?
I don't know that it can attach because they do vibrate so high, but I think that they do try to mess with them and scare him. Yeah. I remember it, and my son Logan has, but nothing ever attached to me. Yeah. They just freaked me out, And so, but if she doesn't seem scared, and your little girl's just talking, it's probably one of her guides. If you're not feeling like it's a family member that's passed on.
And I do feel like places that are older, it doesn't have to be an old house, but places that are older just have more history. Yeah. So there's more chance of that residual energy of people who have passed in the house, especially in the Midwest and the East Coast.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Those houses are hundreds of years old.
There's so much history there.
It's it's interesting.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I would talk to her though. I would have a conversation with my 4-year-old. I've done that before.
I would be very interested in does she talk to you and what is she telling you and what
That would be the biggest one. What
Yeah.
does she say to you when you talk to your friend?
How often is she here? Do you feel safe around her? Because what if it is like a grandma? What does she look like? Like,
Yes.
describe her to me. Like, I want to be a part of this with you and make sure that like you're a part of that. But you don't want to scare her.
Yeah.
And you don't want to close off her gifts. So like if it's something she's open and receiving, like there are tons of children who have the gift and then close it off around adolescence. So if you're open to her having gifts, I would make sure to not close it.
Yeah, you have an open conversation with her and then, just kind of guide her along the way, because if she is able to see them already, and if that is one of her gifts and she'll continue as she gets older, the more you can help her and give her tools and resources and things that could help support her so that she is protected and she feels confident and safe communicating with them, then she'll feel empowered instead of scared.
Yeah, and you don't have to have the gift in order to help her through that.
100%.
So if your child, your daughter, whoever it is, has that gift, and you can just kind of hold their hand through it and help them tell and sense like good energy from negative, and just make sure you're her friend in that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I like that.
All right.
Do you have one more?
Yeah, let's do it. There's so many good ones. I wish we could get to all of these. This one was really interesting. Okay. Dear Kaci and Kalina, I have a friend who claims to have psychic abilities, and she often warns me about things. Bad energy, upcoming troubles, even spirits following me. Lately, it's making me really anxious. How do I know if she's truly gifted or just being dramatic? And how can I protect my own energy from her negativity?
I would say, what does your intuition tell you? Like, what do you feel when she tells you things?
I actually find this question really interesting because, especially on social media these days, I feel like there are a lot of scammers, fake people, and negative people. And anytime there's anything about bad news, I would say, what is their purpose of sharing that with you other than to say, I know something about you? And that's negative vibrational. And in my belief system, you have to be pretty high vibrational in order to have the gifts. Like, so if she's telling you all bad news, where is that coming from?
Yeah. Is any of it lining up for you? Like,
that's a good point.
Is it coming? So we don't have exact examples, or if she's like, hey, be extra careful driving down this road. I see there's a car accident and you're involved. Did you stay on that road and get in a car accident? I don't know. Is it things of that negative type of nature?
Yeah.
Or is it worse than that?
She said that it's been really making her anxious. So like, I joke when we're giving readings, I say we only give bad
news on Tuesday.
Bad news on Tuesdays, and it's not Tuesday, so you're safe. But like, even like, I had a friend who was like, I went to dinner last week with some friends, and there was a girl who knows what I do, and she was like, oh my gosh, please don't read me. And I was like, what? And she's like, I don't want to know anything. I know bad stuff is coming. I don't want to know. And I was like, why would you think bad stuff is happening, first of all? And second of all, it's not Tuesday. So.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
You're good. It's not Tuesday. I only give bad news on Tuesdays. But really, like, why would I get bad news? What's the point of that?
Yeah, there is no point. And if it's causing you anxiety, then I would say just to set a healthy boundary with her, because whether she is a true psychic medium or not, or whether she has abilities or not, really doesn't matter. It matters how what she's saying is making you feel. Yeah. So if you don't feel good, you don't feel safe, and it's making you anxious, just have that conversation with her and set that boundary. Like, hey, I want to hang out with you and you're my good friend, but I can't hear these different downloads and messages you're getting. Yeah, absolutely. And keep that boundary with her.
I actually feel like this comes up a lot with like people who have mourned the loss of somebody, went to a medium, and that medium told them they're mad at your mom for X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, well, I don't.
That's not even what they're holding on to. They don't think that way.
And so like, it makes me sad for these people who are going to mediums who are giving them bad news.
Yes.
And like the whole purpose, and I know you believe this too, but like the whole purpose of our work is to give healing, hope, and light, right? Yeah. And giving any negative anything. There's another person that came to me and was like, I went to a medium and they told me that my sister was stuck in between this world and the next. She didn't know that she was I'm not on the other side. She's stuck in between. And I'm like,
so wild to me.
That's heartbreaking.
That doesn't even feel right. That's not what either one of us have ever seen or felt when communicating with spirits. And I don't believe that that's how it is.
Yeah, that they're like
why would
stuck.
You tell them that? Yeah.
And if anything, it's just hurting the person here even more. It's like, hey, you're hurting. Let me give you news to hurt even more. It's like kicking somebody
on an open wound.
Yes, kicking somebody when they're down. Like, why would you give them, especially when, like, okay, if you're tapping into that person's energy, no matter where they are, even though I don't believe they're stuck.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you give a positive, uplifting message? Now, if there was a traumatic past and that's not positive, then okay, like maybe you're a little more delicate and gentle with that message. But like if you do this work, and a lot of our listeners do, are psychics and mediums, and if you have gifts, make sure that you're using your gift to help people, not to hurt people. Ask yourself, I like to say, wait, why am I talking? It's, like, wait,
that is good.
Pause.
It's like pause, breathe, think about it first.
Yeah. What is your purpose of telling them this? Because if it's any negative, vibrational anything, then I would ask where it's coming from.
And just keep it to yourself.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that we don't get bad information, not necessarily bad.
Yeah, we do. We're not blind to that, or we're not trying to sound naive.
But I'm not going to walk up to somebody and be like, oh, you're going to get cancer in a year. And, oh, by the way, you're like, what?
No.
Can we like do a really short one on a more positive note?
Let's see. I know, because I was like, I'm feeling sad for her now.
I know. And there's a lot of like social media out there that like people have different belief systems. I understand that and I respect that. But in my experience, I just fully lean into the light and the love. And I think spirit wants you to know that they're okay and that they love you and they're with you.
Yeah. Okay, I have one. This is really sweet. Dear Kalina and Kaci, since my mother passed away last year, I've been noticing strange coincidences. Her favorite song playing randomly, her perfume scent appearing out of nowhere, and vivid dreams where she seems to be talking to me. Am I actually receiving messages from her, or is my mind just finding comfort in these signs? How can I know for sure?
The answer is both.
Because you want to have that communication and connection with them so bad, you're going to see things into things. So if something's not even there, you're going to see something. But
it doesn't mean it's not there.
Exactly.
There is definitely signs. It's not coincidental that you decide to change the channel and all of a sudden her favorite TV show is on, or you decide.
Or you smell her perfume when you're walking down the hallway.
Yes,
that's
of course that's her. But
maybe
now you're starting to look for pennies because every penny reminds you of her, right?
Yeah,
that's okay.
Say. Yeah.
Tapping into your brain.
I was going to use that example. I completely agree. But it's beautiful, though. I think it's so sweet that you're able to see those symbols.
And don't
her communication
stop.
With you.
Don't stop looking for them, because the more you look, the more she'll be there. Yeah. And it's Spirit's way of letting you know that they are always with you. They will never leave you. They want you to be happy, and they want you to know that they are still a part of your everyday life.
Yeah, they're like that army standing behind us that is just rallying around us, supporting us, cheering us on. They're like your biggest cheerleaders.
And just because you can't see them doesn't mean they're not there.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for your questions and emails.
Yes.
We really appreciate it.
So if you have any more questions, we'll try and put them in every episode again. Have a little segment at the end of Ask the Psychics. And you can email us at
mediummixology@gmail.com.
Yeah. Mediummixology@gmail.
We'd love to hear from you.
Perfect. All right,
let's
Case.
wrap it up.
Let's do one more cheers.
Cheers.
Happy hump day.
Yes.
Hope you guys have a great rest of your week.
Thank you for listening, guys. Love you.
Peace out from the Spirit Lounge.
Yeah.